strong-willed children they test every part of you.
Yeah.
And I want people to realize that, despite the fact that they might think my children act perfect in public or whatever, or, oh, look at them, they're always put together. That's not true. No, I actually want to yell it, but I can't yell because we're on a microphone. But yeah, it's not true.
Yeah. Welcome to the Well Grounded Podcast. I am Diane.
And I am Leigh Ann.
And we just want to welcome you to our Season 2. This is our first episode of Season 2, and we are just so excited that we can introduce to you our amazing new theme, which is Sisterhood of Motherhood. And we have some great things this season for you. We have guests, and we are going to be introducing our first guest to you in just a few minutes. And we just have gone through a whole bunch of different things, a lot of prayer, anticipation, and things that we want to share with you over these next few episodes about how we embrace motherhood in all the different ages and stages.
Yes.
And just what we can do to encourage you out there in your journey of motherhood. So, what's coming up?
So, we are so excited today to just lean into the Lord a little bit. And even though the planning, and we've invited guests that are on different topics, and today we're going to be talking about strong-willed children. But really, honestly, more than talking about our children, we're talking about mothers of strong-willed children.
There you go. I like that.
And so we're actually like, what does that look like in our walk and in our relationships around us, and how we respond, how we initiate with our kids. So they're real. Those strong-willed children are real. They exist. And anybody who tells you otherwise, just let them come over and visit us. But we just want to leave you with some encouragement on that today, and just really come alongside, which is the point of this series.
Yes.
The Sisterhood of Motherhood is about coming alongside one another and saying, you're not crazy. You didn't make this up.
And you're not alone on this journey.
Right. We're walking through it with you. We're walking through it with you, and we're going to point to the word and give some encouragement today.
Definitely.
So, but before we do that, we have a delicious fall latte moment.
So
I was about to give it away. I'm sorry. Let you take it away.
Of course, in our fall kickoff to our new season, we have to do the traditional, everybody loves it, the pumpkin spice latte.
Iced or
hot. And we just think it is so much fun, especially, I don't think you had to be living under a rock if you don't realize that there's pumpkin everything right now at this time of year. But it is just a lot of fun. You can get this recipe anywhere on the internet. We're going to post it in our show notes. And remember to follow us at Well Grounded Podcast on Instagram and wherever you listen to us. And so we just, we'll be sharing that recipe. I'm not going to read all the ingredients, but you guys know what's in there with pumpkin.
Also, just tag us if you're just out having a PSL somewhere, a little pumpkin spice latte thing. You can fun. Always tag us. We would love that, and we'll share that on our Instagram too.
Yes.
So
have your own coffee and conversation and do that. And I think that would be a lot of fun.
Yes. Invite us in. Okay.
So I want to definitely introduce my good friend today on our first episode of season 2. We have Kellie Spencer. Yay! Thank you so much, Kellie, for being a part of this kickoff. And I know a few months ago when we kind of came up with this idea and thought process, you were really top of mind on, someone that we wanted to hear from and things. And
we really probably could invite her for like multiple episodes, but we picked one topic today to hone her in. But
we kind of did a little survey of our moms, and you're going to see on some of our social medias that we did a really cool photo shoot, captured Grace Photography. I'll do a little shout out to her. She is my daughter, and she does a great job with photography. And so she did a great photo shoot for us for this season. And so you're going to see a lot of those pictures come across our socials here in the next few months. But Kellie, when that kind of started, we just talked to you a little bit about what you would want to talk about. And this was actually something you wanted to talk about. So we kind of thought that was funny.
Yeah. We know your ministry heart here. So,
yes.
So what makes you want to talk about this? Are you walking through this right now?
And definitely share a little bit about your family and who introduce yourself to.
Well, my name is Kellie Spencer. I just turned 38.
Woo!
So that was kind of a milestone for me.
I'm like share our ages.
Yeah, it's okay. Yeah. So I am a mother of 2 children of my own. I have Camden, who is 8. He is my firstborn boy. And then I have Raylan, who is 3 going on 13
at least. Yes.
And they are my children, but then I also am part of a blended family.
Yeah.
And my husband brought in 3 other children from a previous marriage. And we have Brittany and Tyler and Aiden.
Yeah.
So I am
a lot going on. It's
yeah,
great.
there's a lot.
Yeah.
There's
full
a lot.
house, full house, and
yes.
full family.
Yes. All the older ones are adults, so I still have. I just have the 2 living in my household.
Okay, two little.
But the other ones are just as much as part of the family.
Oh yeah,
so.
Yeah.
so great.
And so you said Camden is a boy, and then Raylan is a girl, and they are ages again.
8 and 3.
Almost 3. Yes, that's true. Yeah,
I truly forget that she's 3. She acts more like she's 5 or 6.
She's running things. She's running.
Yes.
We got that. We know about
Which is sometimes kind of scary
things.
because I think you've seen a few qualities in Raylan from yourself, and so it's always hard to see that sometimes when you're like, wait a minute.
Oh, Lance loves to say, "Okay, little Kelly," constantly. I'm like,
that's
okay.
funny. That's great.
Thank you for that.
It feels different coming from them, from us.
Yes.
And so when you're thinking, about being a part of this, and when we asked you, and you know that topic came to your top of mind, what really made you think about that, other than the daily things that you deal with?
I think for me, it is just making sure that people know that they're not the only people going through that.
Yeah.
I think that is one of Satan's tactics, is making us feel isolated, making us feel like we're the only person going through the things that we're going through.
Right.
And I understand that I have a perspective, and I have people's respect at the church. And sometimes when it comes to being a minister's wife, you're kind of, you're out there for people.
Yeah.
Like, your family is right there for people
there.
to kind of either look at and judge, or look at and be like, man, at least they also struggle. Like, I'm not the only one. Some people like to put ministry families on a pedestal, or sometimes they like to put them in the fire.
Yeah.
So it's
fair.
I
That
want
is a great summary.
Yeah,
it's a great summary.
I want to be someone who is very real. I don't want to be a facade. I don't want to portray a perfect family when it's not.
Sure.
And so strong-willed children they test every part of you.
Yeah.
And I want people to realize that, despite the fact that they might think my children act perfect in public, or whatever, or oh, look at them, they're always put together. That's not true. No, I actually want to yell it, but I can't yell because we're at a microphone. But it's not true.
Yeah.
And I just want people to know that is not always real life.
Share that authenticity with us.
Try to,
and you definitely have a range of people that will see you, from kids at school, and then in the ministry, and then in your friend groups and all that. And so you share some commonalities with friends, you have different things, but it's hard when sometimes you do have those challenges. And I think that's one of the things, Leigh Ann, we kind of shared about, is that we want to delve into the part about how, as a mom, when I would gander to say that almost everybody out there is, if they don't have a strong-willed child, they know someone that does. And so
or moments of it.
And moments of it.
It may not be every day,
Yes.
but children are going to have a different
They're gonna push your
plan than we have for them.
Yeah.
So just a quick definition of that, we're just approaching this from the idea that some children, personality-wise, temperament-wise, are just compliant.
Yeah.
They don't have to question every random thing. Like, okay, we're heading to the store right now. Why is this the plan? Everything that isn't their original idea, they're fine with. They're just compliant. And that's a very general statement. Everybody has days.
Yeah.
Every kid is going to have a day where they're too tired or too hungry or not cooperating or whatever. But in general, you don't face a daily battle with them to do basic things.
Right.
The other type of child, which we have seen, all of us have seen, is a child who's more questioning.
Yeah.
They're just more, we're just trying to put some definition around this real quick.
Yeah.
So most of us know this, but they're just going to challenge you on things. They're going to question more things.
provide a little, we can say the word resistance.
Yes, resistance. That's a great way.
Agreed, yeah.
It's not necessarily defiance, although it can be.
Right.
Yeah.
But it's
Right.
more,
You need to.
I need answers.
Yeah.
And I need to know my boundaries.
Yes,
Sure.
and you mentioned earlier about a child who's just asking why a lot. Like when you're in a hurry and you just want everybody to get their shoes on and go do the thing, answering the why question is not always convenient. It's
Yeah.
not always, you don't have
Yeah.
time to do it. So the kid who needs to know why, or what's the plan or whatever, it sometimes feels like you're got that resistance against you.
Yeah.
So didn't want to interrupt you. I
No,
just was
yeah.
going to set that definition.
No,
for
I
us.
appreciate
so, yeah,
that.
yeah. So going
That's
forward,
great.
yeah.
So when I had Camden and we were going, first time parents, you don't know what in the world you're doing.
Sure.
You're just kind of surviving.
Yeah.
He was a constant questioner. Now that he's older, I really thought he was like my strong-willed child until in comes Raylan
Yeah.
and shows me what a true strong-willed child is.
He was just an inquisitive child.
Exactly. He just wanted to know details. He very much was an organizer. I did not know that until later in life.
Isn't that funny? How
Yep.
it,
Yeah.
gets
Now
revealed?
with that perspective of Raylan, who truly is a strong-willed child, it's given me perspective on Camden, and I have apologized to him multiple times. I'm so sorry,
bud.
son.
Yeah.
That's so cute.
But Raylan, I was mentioning earlier, she is my cuz why.
Cause why?
Cuz why. Yeah. Everything cuz why. And Lance and I, by the way, I'm married. Guy
Yes.
Lance.
You
I don't know.
mentioned
Did
it.
I mention?
I think you did.
Yes, you didn't forget Lance.
You didn't forget him.
I just thought I was talking about my kids. Wow. Okay.
I don't know, but we'll have to go back. Yeah.
He said
you
my
may have.
husband.
Yes.
You did. You did.
Okay. Well, his name's Lance.
His name's Lance.
And
Yes.
He's great.
well, he is great. And we decided as parents that if our kids ever questioned things, we weren't going to just say, because I said so.
Right.
Because for me, that's not good enough.
Sure.
I don't want to be given
Yeah.
that answer. I want to know why.
There's a reason they're asking.
There
so,
exactly,
yeah,
and
yeah.
so we're taking it as teaching moments. I can't say that I have 100%
No.
stuck with
No,
that because
but-
there are the get the shoes on in the
Yes.
moments, and you're just
Yes.
like, because I said so. But
We said, I'll tell you in the car once your shoes are on.
Exactly, exactly.
Hold that carrot out.
Exactly. And so there are moments that
Yeah.
I'm just reminded that we are teaching our kids something.
Good word.
And sometimes I have to literally take a deep breath.
Sure.
Remind myself I was once little and I now know what I know because of people who took
Yeah.
their time to explain things to me instead of being so hot-tempered, because I can be, and trust me, when she was 2, I don't know how I still have my hair
Yeah.
on my
Yeah.
head.
Yeah.
But look at that.
because-
Look at that. Even, in that one big year from 2 to 3.
It really
You
is.
can
Right.
even say that.
It really is.
That's
Yes.
a great thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like looking back on it, I
Yeah.
was like, man, I did survive, and I'm very grateful for that. She continues to floor me with her articulation of things, her understanding of things. But
Really
she's
smart. Really
Yeah.
smart
She's
kid.
very smart, and
Yeah.
I'm not just saying that because she's my kid, but
No.
like, wow, she's very,
Yeah.
very smart, and so
Intuitive.
and
Yeah.
so. Yes, she is intuitive, but also there is that resistance. Like, I don't want to do what you're telling me
Yeah.
to do. I had a moment a few months back where I was like, Raylan, I need you to not do that again, because that's just not how we're going to behave. Okay.
Yeah.
That's not correct. And she looks at me and she goes, sister.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm going to need you to go to your room.
Yeah.
And we're going to talk about it when I'm ready to talk through this rationally with
Right,
you.
right,
Because
right.
it's that constant need for testing the boundaries.
Who's in charge?
Who is in charge?
Is
Exactly.
it you, Mom, or is it me?
Right.
Yeah.
You better believe it's going to be me.
Yeah.
But at the same time,
Yeah.
I need her to know in a very odd way that I want her to be able to test the boundaries in a safe place.
Sure.
Because
Yeah.
if she is going to test the boundaries, I want it to be with me so that she knows they're still there.
Yeah.
So, because I mean, these kids these days, they are testing the boundaries, and it's because they want to know that they're not going to fall and
Yeah.
crumble.
Right. Yeah.
And that's what makes them feel safe.
Right.
So when we're in public, half the time people are like, "Oh my goodness, your kids are perfect. They're not. I'm like, girl, come home with me.
Yeah,
and you'll see a different story.
And then you're just like, thank you.
Yes,
I'm so glad.
thank you so much. And they're like, why are you gritting your teeth? I'm like, I was like, you didn't see what just happened to get us here.
Yes,
so
yes.
The training that's happening behind, and I think that's just a great, just universal thing for motherhood is you know there's more to that story a lot of times, you know, so it isn't.
And really,
it's a good day, maybe.
Like,
we're having a good day. Let's lean in.
Yes.
If you're in the middle of a Target or a Publix or a grocery store and all of a sudden you see a mom struggling with that, you can instantly give her that empathetic look to say, oh my gosh, I've been there, done that. I know exactly what you're going through. And I mean, that's...
Especially if you're standing there with your big kids, like your teenagers, and you're like, you're going to get through it.
I had someone do that, actually. Like, Raylan was just having a meltdown in public. And I was like, it was actually at Chick-fil-A. It was at Chick-fil-A. And I was by myself with her. And nothing was going right.
Yeah.
She asked for chicken nuggets and mac and cheese. I don't want these. I want strawberries and I want this and I want that. And I'm like, but you just asked for this. And she's like, but I don't want it anymore. Yeah. And just nothing. Yeah, nothing was going her way. Everybody's watching. I am mortified. And then someone just comes up to me and they're like, honey, it's okay. Yeah. It happens to everybody.
Yes. And that just makes you feel so much better.
It does. Yeah. Because so many times I think I am the only one having this type of day.
Yeah. Sure.
And it's overwhelming and I just feel defeated and I just want to quit.
Right. And that's exactly why we wanted to do the Sisterhood of Motherhood is because we want all the moms out there to just connect to each other and to just realize that we are not alone. We are not on our own islands and the things that have happened, whether you're in the beginning stages or the middle stages or the later stages of parenting, you know, we connect through that. And that's just really important for all of us to bond over, to really hear about.
Yes.
I know one of the things Leigh Ann and I were just going to share or ask you about is how have you felt that in the moment, like you're just having one of those moments with Raylan or Camden or things, you know, where do you get your strength from? Where do you get that? You know, sometimes you just want to crawl away and be like, I can't deal with this anymore. So how do you kind of rise above that?
A lot of the times I truly, it's like a recantation in my mind. Like, this is a phase.
That's a good word.
Because I have seen it with Camden, you know, in those first mommy moments when you don't know if this is a phase or if it's not. Is this going to be him forever? I don't know. Once I was able to see the progression and see that what we're doing to lay that foundation for him is actually sinking in now that he's a little bit older. I have all the hope that that is
That's
going to happen with Raylan as well. And we're already seeing the fruits of that labor and being consistent. That is like the biggest word. If I was going to encourage someone in how to remain fervent and all of this is just be consistent with how you're dealing with yourself. Because honestly, a lot of what they're going through is they're watching how you respond. They're watching you parent. And they're watching how you take these challenges and you either rise above or you burn. And it's a lot to kind of in those moments be very realistic of, okay, I'm being watched constantly and I'm teaching my kids how to deal with challenges.
Sure.
What's that foundation for you?
For me, it's obvious. Well, maybe not obviously to people who don't know me, but I very much rely on Jesus. My faith is my foundation. And my scripture life verse is Galatians 6:9.
Okay.
Let us not become weary in doing good, for at the proper time you'll reap a harvest if you do not give up.
What a great parenting
Such
verse.
A great one, because you're doing things over and over and it may take a season. Like you said, the phase. You may be doing the right things, the consistent things and not seeing the results for a little bit. But you keep going because we aren't just making up the standard day to day,
right?
You know, we have a standard. We're trying to train godly adults, godly kids to become godly adults. And so we have a goal in mind, and we're pushing for that. So sorry to interrupt.
So how have you seen that verse just play out for you? Like, kind of walk us through, you know, how that just
telling it to yourself.
Yeah, telling it to yourself.
So the word weary is, I think every mother relates to the word weary.
Yeah.
Whether it's in the very beginning phases and you just are purely exhausted and running on fumes, or whether you've been in motherhood for a long time and you just see the seasons of your kids' lives, whether you're, a taxi or whether you're, I know Diane knows what that's like.
Carpool mom.
So you're just like, you know, and that resonates with a lot of people what weary is, and it says let us not become weary in doing good, because at the proper time you will reap a harvest if you do not give up.
That's great.
How many times am I like, I just want to give up, and the second that I tell myself that I want to give up, that's when that scripture is like, don't give up. Don't give up. Don't give up, because at the proper time you'll reap a harvest. It's not just saying you're going to get one crop. No, you're gonna get a harvest. Right. I'm getting the chills.
Yeah, I love that.
But you're gonna reap a harvest. That means like you are like you're getting so much in return if you don't give up.
Yeah, when you think about that word harvest, it's like plentiful. You think it's not just like you said, one crop. I love that image. Yeah, it's great.
That to me is like, it's not just your child, it's your child's ministry to other people.
I was just gonna say that.
So good.
100%. That's completely.
That's the harvest. Yeah.
If I do my job as a parent, and I'm gonna get emotional.
Yeah,
it's okay.
It's okay.
If I do my job as a parent and I am raising godly kids, that ministry of that one child by themselves has their own ministry.
Yeah.
And then they're going to affect someone, and then their ministry is they're just going to continue to reap the harvest. It's not just our household harvest. It's our friends and our neighbors and all the people that they're going to come alongside. It's not just Raylan and Camden and Brittany and Tyler and Aiden and all those.
Yeah.
Like, it is their pockets of harvests that are going to happen if we don't give up.
Her as a mother.
Yeah. Her as a mother, her as a grandmother.
And sometimes I think when you think about that giving up, it's like a daily battle. Right. Like it can, like sometimes you think, oh, I can't give up this week. No, like sometimes I remember there were those mothering days where I was like, just get me to 12 o'clock.
Yeah.
Get me to 12 o'clock. Like I can do this if I can get to 12 o'clock. And then it was get me to 5 o'clock. And then it was get me to bedtime and literally, I mean, it would just be all that I could do to get through that day. And so, just realizing that do not give up. It's can be just for that one moment, that one day, that 1 hour, just not give up.
And when a child or several of your children are fighting you on things that don't seem big to us, like it's like, this is such a dumb thing. I remember feeling like, it's just a dumb thing to fight with me on. Like this is something we do all the time. Like why is it today we're picking a battle over this? Like let's just roll with this. Like but it feels personal. I think that is something hard. That is keeping our eyes on the Lord for. He's the one giving us the strength to do it because. Otherwise, it feels like I've got to figure this out. I've got to take this on myself.
Yeah. A perspective that I would say within the last 2 years, of really when I was starting to truly go through my really difficult phase with Raylan and her strong-willedness, I was on my knees in prayer at one point, and I was like, God, I can't do this by myself. I mean, I know I have my husband. I know I have friends that I can turn to, and that's all well and good. But I was feeling weary and defeated, and I just said, God, just remind me that you've got me. Remind me that these are your children. Yeah, these aren't my children.
So good. Because
oftentimes the way that I discipline, I can tell is I'm a strict parent. I know that about myself, but I have a job as a parent because these are not my children. Yeah. I know that God has given them to me on this earth, and I am grateful and I am blessed, but ultimately they're his kids. Sure. And it's my job to make sure that even in their strong-willed little selves, that their foundation is Jesus, and they are constantly rooted in Christ and showcasing him to other people. Yeah, that's my job as a parent. And so when I have those moments of like, all right, I'm over it. I don't want to do this anymore. Like, count me out. Like, I gotta go. I'm constantly reminded that they aren't mine.
Well, I know you probably weren't even thinking of sharing this today, but even the story about Raylan, you know, and that was just, it's a beautiful story about, you know, how she was prayed for, you know, and I mean, I think if you can share that a little bit, I mean, you don't have to share all the details, but like just to share about how, you know, you set up the nursery before she was born. Like we prayed for her to be, you know, part of this family. So
and I'm reminded of that every time I walk into her room, because we've kept several of those
reminders.
Reminders, exactly. I mean, just really quick recap. I had a really low after having a miscarriage.
Yes.
And Lance kind of shot me straight, and he's like, Kelly, like, we can't live like this anymore. Like we need revival in this home.
Yeah.
And I kind of went on my own personal little revival journey and ended up with the word expectation and how we say we expect things from Christ, but we're not ready to move in those ways.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh God, I expect you to do this, like he's Santa Claus, but it's not the expectation of, I need to ready myself in anticipation of what God's going to do in my life. And so I decided that I was going to be a little radical and probably crazy. And
I love this story.
We ended up moving Camden into a different room, and we completely set up a nursery in that room. That is now where Raylan is. I mean, the crib was put together.
Yep.
The dresser was full of clothes.
And you weren't pregnant?
I was not even pregnant.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow,
Oh, yeah.
I didn't
That's
know the
kind of
story.
important.
No,
That's
but I didn't know the
important
story. Sorry.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
my goodness.
In January, after Christmas, I came up to Lance and I was like, we need to put a nursery together.
Yeah.
Because
Believing for a
I'm
baby.
praying in expectation for God to deliver some maybe it's not from my womb.
Right.
Would I love that? Absolutely. But maybe that's not.
Yeah.
We had seriously considered fostering and adoption. And if that was God's path for us, then that's what it was going to be. But we needed to do that.
Yeah.
And we invited anyone in the church who were really located closely to the church. So anyone who wanted to pop by, and pray over the room. We had, notepads for people to write their prayers, which I still have to this day, and I still read through them. We had worship music on. We always had the lights on. And I had so many people come by and pray over my womb, over who was going to be in that crib, for God to restore our home.
I know. Yeah. Leanna did not know this story. Well, and
there you go.
The thing about it too is around that same time the song Waymaker came out, and literally it was just an anthem for Kellie and the Spencers, and just to be able to realize that God is our Waymaker. And so, to know that piece of your story, and to know now where you are with your little sweet, precious little girl, and we know where the power of prayer was during that entire process, and it was just, it's beautiful. But on that side is, I think sometimes, like you said, counting those blessings, knowing that that's what you prayed for, but you're still in the battle every day. You're still in the battle of having to, deal with some of those defiant attitudes or the little resistance.
Well, the warfare.
Yeah.
Like even her life, like the praying for the blessing that she was going to be.
Yeah.
So when you're doing a battle that feels like flesh to flesh, feels like mother to daughter or parent to child, you're really battling to hold the line for what God's called her to be
absolutely.
later. So
100%. I love that.
good.
I know.
My goodness, girl.
I'm like,
well, one question before we wrap things up today that I did want to ask is how, if you could tell your younger self something, what would you tell your younger self? Like as a mom or, in your mothering journey, so if you think back to before Camden.
Not just advice for someone else, but something that you wish you knew for yourself.
I think for me, I just really would want myself to know how important it is to have a personal relationship with Jesus. Not just go to church on Sunday and, dabble here, dabble there, but like truly be rooted in Jesus, because I've grown up in the church my whole life, but I wouldn't say that I knew who Jesus was until much later.
Yeah.
And had I not had my relationship with Jesus in the way that it was now, I would be a complete mess.
Wow.
And I would be such
That's
a different,
powerful.
I would be
I love
such
that.
a different mom.
Yeah.
And that you're parenting out of the spirit instead of out of your flesh.
Yeah.
You know, like,
It-
because people can be good parents, they can love
Absolutely.
their kids,
Yeah.
they can do these things, but those days when
When you have nothing.
when the enemy finds a weak spot,
Yeah.
either between
Vulnerability. Yeah.
and if it is a series with a specific child, and he's like, you're not going to be close to this child, you're not get those messages of, you know, this always going to be hard,
Yeah.
they're never gonna this kid is so hard, this kid is so hard, like in your head, that's
Yeah.
really, you gotta have that truth.
Yeah, I pray for my kids to have conviction every single day. So it's kind of funny and ironic that I'm praying for my kids to have conviction, and then I'm sitting here having her have conviction.
Yeah.
And I am the person that she's putting it on. You know,
Sure.
like she's
Right.
convicted about something, and I want that, because
Right.
she's going to be an incredible adult one day when she has
Yeah.
this strong-willed,
Immovable.
yes,
Immovable.
this
Yeah.
independence, and she's going to be fantastic. It's a lot to handle in a little body right
Yes.
now, and a little baby attitude.
Yeah.
But one day
Yeah.
we are going to reap the benefits
harvest.
of the
Yeah.
harvest.
Yeah.
Your sister in Christ.
Absolutely.
I know.
Absolutely.
It is really, truly, you know, remarkable to just hear the stories and to hear that. And I think hopefully today someone's been encouraged and realized that, you know, don't give up, don't
Yes.
grow weary, you know, realize that it's going to be okay. Take a deep breath, maybe take a few minutes of rest and do those things, and then you'll feel better and stuff. And do not grow weary in doing good. I love that. It's a great verse.
One. Great one.
It's my favorite.
Yes, I love
that's
that.
so
Well, we are
good.
so thankful that you were part of this
Thank
today.
you.
You
Wow, that
kicked off
flew
our
by.
new
I
season.
I know, it does. It
goodness.
does fly by.
It
I will
does.
say, if there's anything else that you want to share, we are running out of time, but if you are, you know, wanting to message or have a question about this
Yeah.
or something,
We'll
we
put those in
know
our-
Kelly. We love
Yeah.
Kelly. We can get those to
Yeah.
her through DMs and things like that too. So please follow this is just the beginning of a conversation.
Yes,
And we
definitely.
we do want to honor moms that are walking through this with
Yeah.
us and have that compassion with it, but also to keep your eye on the prize. The end
prize,
goal is
yes. Raising them up.
yeah. That's so
Good
good.
things,
Thank you
good
for
things.
being
Thank
here.
you for having me.
So as
Hey,
we
yes.
close out, you want to close us out
Yes,
with our verse?
so new season,
Yes.
new closing verse. I just want to share with you guys from Hebrews 10:24 and 25. Diane and I kind of prayed through like what was going to be the theme verse for
Yes.
this time, and Diane found this one, and I was like, this is perfect. Let us consider how we may spur one another on toward love and good deeds, not giving up meeting together as some are in the habit of doing, but encouraging one another, and all the more as we see the day approaching.
Yes.
Hebrews 10:24-25. Thank
Yes.
you all so much. Be refreshed
Be encouraged
and
and stay well grounded.